Hey guys, we have covered a lot of bad movies on this show, but we haven't exactly gone into any movies that dealt with false advertising before, have we? Today we're going to be looking at a little film called A Christmas Wedding Tale. Of course, we all know the saying, you can't judge a book by its cover, but as far as the movies go, posters and DVD covers are supposed to give you an idea of what to expect. Take the cover for Tentacolino. It pretty much tells you everything you need to know. It's batshit insane, and it has almost nothing to do with the Titanic. Now let's look at the cover for today's movie. A Christmas Wedding Tale, once again spelled T-A-I-L because they're oh so clever. This cover features a golden retriever wearing a black bow tie, and a French poodle holding a bouquet of roses. There isn't a whole lot of Christmas going on, but you're probably thinking that this is going to tell the story of two dogs falling in love over the holidays, right? Wrong! A story about two dogs falling in love over the holidays would actually be that. A story. If there is a story to be found in today's movie, it's buried under an hour and a half of absolutely nothing. But then again, what would you expect from Hybrid, the studio that brought us the Dog Who Saved series? Demanding a little quality from them is like asking the ocean not to be wet. In fact, I'm pretty sure they just tossed in the opening montage of one of the Dog Who Saved movies for the opening credits for this one. Isn't it nice knowing that your intellectual properties are that interchangeable? After a few minutes of credits rolling by in beautiful Los Olivos, California, we open on a wedding being narrated to us by a golden retriever named Rusty.
My name's Rusty, and I hope you're in the mood for a good old-fashioned Christmas tale, because I've got one.
Because sunny SoCal is the ideal setting for a Christmas movie. Do you know why Christmas in July exists in the first place? It's because countries in the Southern Hemisphere that would otherwise be celebrating Christmas in the summer want to have the same kind of experience that we see in every piece of Christmas-related media. Since they have their winter when the other half of the world would be having their summer, they have themselves another Christmas so they can have the sleigh bells ring-a-ling, jing-ting-tingling too. You want a good old-fashioned Christmas? This is a good old-fashioned Christmas! Our Christmas tale truly begins via flashback with absolutely nothing Christmassy about it whatsoever. It came without decor. It came without cheer. It came without winter. Why are we here?
Swing. Yeah, it's Christmas time of year again. Hang the trimmings on the tree.
Wow, listen to this energizing music. It makes you want to leap out of your seat and do what the movie's doing, which is absolutely nothing. I'd say these filmmakers are on autopilot, but even if that were the case, they might show us something Christmassy.
It was early October, and Susan had taken me to the dog park for some quality bonding time.
It was October in the dog park. Okay, so not only are you playing your Christmas music way too early, but you couldn't even give us any Halloween decorations? Bales of hay, pumpkins, black and orange color schemes, nothing? After some exposition from Tom Arnold about how Rusty's owner Susan is looking for a job as a museum curator, we see the love of Rusty's life. We know she's the love of his life because she's a poodle.
I just love a woman with a sense of style.
And by style, you mean conforming to the laziest of dog stereotypes. Or do all female dogs just end up turning into poodles? Susan and Rusty meet their respective love interests, Jake and Sherry. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I just spoil the ending? Well, the movie just spoiled the ending itself, so what do you want from me? Anyway, Jake awkwardly invites Susan out on a date at the winery that he owns, and she accepts.
It's been a pleasure meeting you, madame.
Oh, believe me, the pleasure was all yours.
Look, movie, we know that they're going to get together by the end. There's no point in hashing out the cliché of the French poodle being snooty, stuck up, and asexual.
I absolutely detest you, and I will not be attracted to you in any way by the end of the movie whatsoever.
Scruffy little thing.
We then see Jake talking about what just happened with his friend, not Patrick Dempsey, and Susan is having the exact same conversation with her mother.
He offered to show me around the winery where he works.
The winery? He works it. Does he own the winery?
You went with... you didn't cut that take?
Did you say anything about the kids?
Well, no, it was like this fast. It was like, hey, our dogs like each other, you want to come to the winery. It was that fast.
What?
I didn't get a chance to talk about the kids.
Dun 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 dun. Here's the story of a hackneyed premise. And they added dogs to keep from getting sued. Later, at the beautiful Bridalwood Winery, which I'm almost certain this movie was meant to be a commercial for, we see our romantic leads hitting it off.
There it is.
Go.
Oh, that smells delicious.
It's a special mixture of black truffles, sausage, and oyster stuffing in one stunning chicken.
Okay.
Or I'll be right back.
I could just see him going back to the kitchen and getting bitched at by Chef Ramsay. Stop flirting with the customers, you donkey!
Hey, I actually
there's something
wanted
I
to
really wanted
talk.
to tell you. Sorry, you go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I insist.
I have 3
I
boys.
have 2 children.
What?
Really?
I can't believe you just said that. You don't know how worried I was to tell you that.
Why? You don't know this person! They exchange small talk, like how one of Jake's daughters wants to play rugby, since California is well known for its abundance of rugby teams, and that he apparently can't boil a pot of water. I would imagine that that's something you would never want to hear from someone who's making your wine. They later decide to get together for a family date with their kids.
Oh yeah, it was classic.
Because it isn't enough to simply have her enjoy sports, she has to be a snarling psychopath with a thirst for blood! Actually, wait a minute. If they want to show that she's so tough, why is she wearing pads when no one else is? They're obviously having a friendly game in their backyard, but with how she's all done up like this, it looks like she's terrified of getting hurt. I'm getting some seriously mixed signals here.
With the reindeer, like a shooting star.
And stop with the Christmas music when there's no Christmas! Why are you playing this when your kids are sprawled out all over the lawn like that one scene from Gone with the Wind?
And before you knew it, the Christmas season was here.
Oh yeah, this was supposed to be a Christmas movie, wasn't it? And what could be more indicative of the Christmas season than getting Thanksgiving over and done with as quickly as possible? Jake pops the question to Susan, and of course she says yes. What's more is that they decide to rush things in order to have their wedding on Christmas Day.
Of course, with less than a month to go, things were bound to get interesting.
Oh, why start now? Naturally, Susan's mother isn't taking the pace of the relationship very well, but neither is not Patrick Dempsey.
How are the girls taking it? Because I'm not taking it very well.
And who the hell are you that might mean something? Are you his secret gay lover?
I don't get it. You just did the whole marriage thing, and now you're on the Sea of Tranquility, and there are tons of fish in that sea.
There are fish on the moon? I didn't know that.
And you are talking about settling down. You should be getting down, man.
Mom, what does getting down mean?
Back to the red box with you, movie.
Come on, man. We just played the Renaissance Fair, and all the knights in the crowd were like, "Arr, thou art fine minstrels." But they didn't sound like pirates when they did it.
No.
I'll give you a massage.
Okay, that confirms it. This movie had no script. I like pudding. Then the movie goes through the motions of showing us the preparations for the wedding, like Susan going dress shopping.
Congratulations. And my goodness, what beautiful... Oh, honey, may I say what beautiful daughters you have?
They are lovely.
I'm seriously questioning the quality of Jake's parenting. Have these two ever been taken out in public?
You look splendid.
I think it's a little long.
No, it's perfect. You put some heels on? Just right.
Yeah. I think it's a little too long.
Sports! Sports! Sports are my life! I worship at the First Church of Rugby! I sleep in my football pads!
That dress is too long.
How'd it go at the dress shop?
It was interesting. Yeah.
And the girls?
I think the girls are about as excited about the wedding as the boys are.
Did you really expect otherwise?
Uh-oh. We have a mother and daughter casually talking. We hear some soft guitar music playing in the background. Are they gonna talk about feeling, you know, not so fresh? She then gets a phone call from Tom Arnold, since, remember, museum curators in training need talent agents, about how the New York Museum of Contemporary Art, or MoCA, since the Museum of Modern Art wouldn't be caught dead in this movie, is looking for a new curator, and they want to interview Susan.
I'll be there.
I just reprioritized my entire life. I'm getting married to a man who owns a winery. I'm going through incredible lengths to join my family with his, so of course I'll leap at the chance to abandon all of that to move to New York. I've got museum curating in my blood! You know what? I just figured something out. This is not a kids' movie. This was a script to some random Hallmark movie that never got made, Then someone decided to just throw a couple of dogs into it and sell it as a kids' movie. This movie is 88 minutes long, and the dogs are only on screen for less than 12 minutes. Our main characters have nothing to do with this flick. Just look at this montage of Jake and Susan deciding on wedding planners. There is no reason for them to bring their dogs here, but they have to be here to remind the kids watching that this movie was made for them. Then they check out this country club as a possible venue for the reception, which is apparently so expensive that it balances out to $150 a plate. That is insane! And in spite of this ridiculous price that demands that everything go according to plan, both of them have to bring their dogs along, lest we forget that this movie is supposed to be about the dogs.
Oh my, is that what I think it is?
Ignore him, Rusty. He's just a stray.
It's another dog! Let's get it!
Rusty, no, get back here.
Oh yeah, we forgot to do some funny slapstick with the dogs. Quick, throw together a scene where they drag along the stranger who we're not supposed to like because she was trying to uphold the club's rules of dogs not being allowed. Look at this. They couldn't even bother to tie her up with the leash, so the dogs dragging her around might be possible. Not only is this scene clearly an afterthought, but it's lazy to boot. Next on their list of boring wedding preparations is finding a band, the process of which includes not Patrick Dempsey, who is absolutely horrible.
Wow.
Well, at least we're getting the worst out of the way first.
As well as... Construction Paper Devo? Budget Daft Punk? Then they go to sample some cake choices in the Los Olivos district known as Little Germany.
Ryan, no, you want to come see some wedding cakes, honey?
Okay.
Hey, buddy. So you're not so thrilled about your mom and I getting engaged, huh? But your dad? I'm not trying to replace him.
Come on, this kid is very fragile right now. You need to employ a little tact in a very delicate situation like this. What you should be saying is something like, look, I'm not here to replace your dad, I'm just f***ing your mom. Feel better? Okay, let's go sample some cake.
Have you thought about what kind of cake you might like?
Not really. I mean, we're here.
Yeah.
It's about as far as we've gotten.
Flavors?
Oh,
Like
I'll
a
see angel
red velvet.
food. Okay,
Or
well,
raspberry
lemon
cream.
coconut. Or
Or lemon
That,
raspberry coconut
yeah.
cream.
Have these people agreed on anything since they got together? She hasn't picked out a dress, they haven't decided on a band, we don't know if they went along with the country club after they didn't catch their dogs, now they haven't even decided on cake possibilities before they go looking for one? If the last 45 minutes of the movie didn't say otherwise, I'd swear that these two had never even spoken to each other before. After the dogs get into some more hijinks that go absolutely nowhere, yes, the dogs are smart enough to open car doors, just go with it, Susan gets the word that she was accepted for the curator job. Impressive, considering how we never saw her actually attend the interview. Maybe that would be important to show us? So she goes to the winery to break the news to Jake.
Yeah, you guys are our best customers.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Yeah, you guys are our best customers. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about that.
To what do I owe the pleasure? Welcome. How's Rusty?
Because remember, it's the dog who's important. It's not like he would ask her how her sons are doing or anything. No. It's the dog who's the main character and is the central focus and who is the most important in everyone's minds.
New York?
yeah, I've been wanting something like this. This tremendous opportunity. MoMA is one of the biggest museums in the country.
I can't just leave here. This is the only home that my kids know.
Speaking of kids, are there any children who are actually watching the movie at this point? I'm pretty sure they all tuned out 20 minutes ago and are watching Steven Universe on their smartphones.
This is not me. This was never meant to be permanent for me. I am not a small town person. You have this, you have the winery. What do I have? What defines me other than Mom?
Wow. I don't think I've ever heard a screenwriter come out and say that he sucks at his job. Oh no, I guess they're broken up despite the ending of the movie from before. Wait a minute. This movie is supposed to be told to us from the dog's perspective, right? How did we get that last scene if the dog wasn't there to witness it? What, did Jake go home and tell him what was going on?
I'm gonna call Pat. I'm going to accept the position.
You're gonna take the job after all that effort you spent on getting your kids to warm up to the idea of you marrying this guy, all the time spent with him and his kids, all the bonding, all that thrown out the window just because you're not a small town girl. Yeah. You are a lousy mother, Kate. I mean, Susan.
Mark this day with a kiss. It doesn't get better than this.
Alright, if you really need a montage showing all the, good times that they had together, fine. But why do it with these filters? You really don't want to put it in soft focus? Maybe give it some warmer colors? This looks like something out of a Saw movie. The lights are lighter, the blacks are blacker, the greens are sickening. Are we supposed to feel nauseous?
It really hurt to see her like this. I knew how much Jake meant to her. I also knew how she felt, having to move back in with her mom at that age. Independence is important.
You're a dog. Aren't you supposed to be completely in love with the concept of being Susan's pet? And for that matter, what do you know about how bad it is being a boomerang baby? Did you at some point have to move back in with your mom and half your litter? After the dogs get an idea that they don't talk about in detail, they bring their respective kids to the winery, where they don't even acknowledge each other once they've arrived. Because that's how you show that these kids have bonded with one another. When they finally do realize that the other kids are there, they act like rival gangs to each other. Where the hell is this coming from? And they're disbelieving of the others' claim that they were led there by their dogs? Hello? Could they not see the other dog running in the exact same direction as theirs?
Well, you know what? Quiet! Stop arguing! He's right. It's not about whose fault it is. It's about what we're gonna do about it. My mom loves your dad, and your dad loves her. So the question is, how are we gonna make sure that they still get married?
So, the dog's plan was to get the kids together so that they could think of a plan? Not since the Transformers movies have I seen main characters this useless. And what plan do the kids come up with? They decide to ask Santa Claus to get their parents back together. Seriously. Their plan is to ask some schmuck in a costume to get their folks back together. I mean, are you kids stupid or something? Everyone knows that this is the real Santa Claus. Anyway, he suggests that they take their parents to the Christmas carnival that they already knew about because it's being run by their grandma and they even handed out flyers for it. So they go to the carnival, which is mostly made up of stock footage, and how do they get their folks back together? They make them do a slow dance to Silent Night. Yeah, just make them do a slow, romantic dance to Silent Night, and all problems will just melt away, apparently. It's like disagreement kryptonite or something. All is forgiven! No, the real Christmas miracle is that not Patrick Dempsey can sing this time. What was the point of making him suck before? Wait, this is a Christmas movie? Holy crap, it's finally beginning to look a lot like Christmas! We have decorations from the Christmas fair, a bunch of houses decked out for the holiday, and it's ruined with a stock shot from Sharknado F*** You movie. Actually, this shot of a beach is the movie telling us that Christmas Day has finally arrived. They all rush downstairs to open their presents, which are apparently stuffed animals that their parents got for them from some crane game at the last second. It was at that life-altering moment that both sets of kids realized their parents were incredibly cheap. After what may be the most disappointing Christmas morning ever, they go and get married just like they planned to. So, an hour 20 into the movie, we go back to the beginning, and what have we learned? Mostly that the movie was an hour and 20 minutes longer than it needed to be. Once upon a time, two people fell in love. There were some complications, but they married each other anyway. The end. Oh, yeah, and there were some dogs involved in there somewhere. Okay, we get it. You love your dogs, but this is not their day. Are you gonna bring them along with you to the honeymoon, too? No, we're not doing that!
And I suppose you're expecting me to say they all lived happily ever after, right?
But they did.
Yeah, they do now. But not at first. Someday I'm gonna have to tell you the story of what happened when they all first moved in together.
Oh. No! This movie had nothing happening in it! There is no room for any sequels! Don't you threaten us with that, movie!
Someday I'm gonna have to tell you the story of what happened when they all first moved in together.
Oh, and the family honeymoon?
Yeah, who could forget?
The family honeymoon? Raven, do you want to review that movie? I think that might be more up your alley.
As long as everyone on that family honeymoon is at least 18, I'm game. But if it has tail in the title, it's going to be a whole different kind of tale.
And I know for a fact you're going to have a lot more fun with that one than I did with this, because this was one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. I know, I've seen a lot of terrible movies, many of which were a lot more enraging or confusing than this, but by far, I think this may be the most boring movie I've ever reviewed. The characters are bland, the story is non-existent, the direction was uninspired, it had nothing to do with Christmas at all, and it's so painfully obvious that this was supposed to be some kind of a romantic comedy or slice-of-life story that just couldn't sell, so they tried to make it into a kids' movie at the very last second. I mean, as awful as Santa Buddies or Alone for Christmas were, at least you can tell they were trying to be entertaining. Everything about this movie is on autopilot, and the autopilot was half-assing it the entire time. And when you make a movie revolving around a holiday this important and this inspiring, and you make it this boring, you have reached untold levels of fail. See you next time.
Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening. A beautiful sight, we're happy tonight, walking in a winter wonderland.
Gone away is the bluebird, here to stay is the new bird. He sings a love song as we go along,
walking in a winter wonderland.
In the meadow we can build a snowman and pretend that he is Parson Brown. He'll say, are you married? They'll say, no, man. But you can do the job when you're in town. Later on,
we'll conspire
as we breathe
by the fire to face unafraid the plans that we made, walking in a winter wonderland.
I now pronounce you snowman and wife.